So tell us about some of the others. Craig Bergmann, I know, is working with us.
Craig Bergman. We love Craig. This year his garden is centered by a conservatory. And he's really creating sort of a gardener's garden. Inside the conservatory will be garden furniture, gardener's implements, you know, a bench, table, watering can, a whole, you know, garden tools. It is surrounded by a menage of interesting small little sub-garden. And of course his almost what has become his signature, terracotta potwalk, where he takes a lot of terracotta pots and he breaks them all up and crushes them and almost creates, you know, a sort of a fantasy gravel, if you will. Another great gardening company who has so generously contributed their efforts is Mariani Landscaping.
Oh yeah.
And they have taken a very historical approach to this, which is a little, you know, dear to my heart also, and that being the gardens and the vegetable gardens of Mount Vernon, which, for those who don't know, is George and Martha Washington's, you know, very, very famed and esteemed garden. Their garden is going to be completely surrounded by brick piers and wattle fencing, which I know is a warm spot in your heart.
It is.
And centered by a very beautiful and professionally built dovecote. And for those of you who don't know what that is, but that was almost like a bird sanctuary at one time. They'll be featuring growing things like greens and medicines and lots of herbs. But in addition to that, they always include, or they plan to include, you know, the quintessential need of having a garden where you can go in and cut flowers and bring them into your house. So they will feature really beautiful perennial cutting gardens. We have Rosborough Landscaping, which was a great addition to our garden show. We're really excited to have them. And again, they're doing a very historic thing, but in a completely different way. In a real country way, creating an aged orchard, an aged apple orchard, which is exactly what Donna has in one of the gardens at her home. And so, you know, they have 4 small little orchard plantings, and each of those plantings is full of long grasses with the spring flowering bulbs emerging up through those long grasses, centered by craggy, aged, flowering crabapple trees. That is quite a trick in order to get that timing correct. And our final one is Schmechtig Landscaping, and they have the very difficult task.
It's a challenge. It's
very challenging
Make a stairway into a garden.
A 60-foot long stairway, you know, which for the convenience of everyone will be ramped. They have created 2 60-foot by 6-foot long linear gardens that are a series of step gardens. And each of those steps will present masses of pots. It's wonderful for gardeners and the average person to see what the possibilities are.
Yeah, the mixing.
The mixing and the combinations and the unusual things that can go into pots and truly make them little teeny gardens in and of themselves. So that becomes a very exciting thing. Lots of pots on a step garden, and then they have also worked in little niches with a bench or a couple of chairs, you know, so it becomes a garden stroll where, you know, you can just, you know, rest your feet for a while and take in the beautiful effort that, you know, all of these gardens have so generously contributed.